Morning, welcome to Leadership Breakfast. We've got a great group this morning, and the French toast smells especially nice. Yesterday, we saw Jesus being encountered by a lady, where she had waited and waited and waited, and had the belief, this lady, this rock solid belief, if I can just touch his garment. And we saw that yesterday in Mark chapter 5, kind of verse 26, 27, 28. And Jesus said in verse 34, "Daughter, your faith has made you well. Go in peace and be healed of your affliction." There she had a physical thing. All right, now that, just an immediate segue. Immediately that Mark continues to write. Here's Jesus. Here's Mark writing about Jesus. While he was still speaking, they came from the house of the synagogue official, saying, "Your daughter has died. Why trouble the teacher anymore?" This synagogue leader had come to Jesus and approached him and said, "Oh, my daughter is ill. Come to my house." And you know how Jesus, he hadn't exactly gotten along with those synagogue officials. Right? Man, every time he's around them, they're poking at him and they're accusing him and they're trying to trick him and trap him. Because those synagogue officials in that day, they had the power of life and death over people. Just like, do you watch in the news now in the Muslim countries, that Sharia law? Iran is run by a religious leader, a so-called religious leader. Okay? So the Jewish people, the Jewish leaders were called in the synagogue. But you know what? Jesus didn't split that hair. Jesus didn't say, "Oh, no, man, hey, you're part of those guys that ultimately is going to kill me. Why do I want to help you?" Instead, Jesus says, "Here, let me go with you." And the synagogue official, he gets word back and they say, "Oh, don't bother the teacher anymore. Your daughter's dead." Jesus goes to the house anyway. And the people in the house are snickering. "Why'd you come? She's dead." And Jesus said, "Oh, no, she's just asleep." So we got a whole bunch of people. That woman had the absolute faith. If I can just touch his garment. He goes to the house of the synagogue official and they're laughing at Jesus going, "Why are you bothering? She's dead. She ain't asleep. We know. We know dead from asleep." Do y'all know dead from asleep?
Yes, dead from asleep.
You know a dead opossum in the road from an asleep opossum in the road, right? Okay? But no, here we go. Here's Jesus. Here he is. They began laughing at him. But putting them all out, he, Jesus, took along the child's father and mother and his own companions and entered a room where the child was. So we had plenty of witnesses here. Guys, here we are. Taking the child by the hand, he said to her, "Talitha, come," which translated means, "Little girl, I say to you, get up." Immediately the girl got up, began to walk, for she was 12 years old, and immediately they were completely astounded. And he gave them strict orders that no one should know about this, and he said that something should be given her to eat. Absolute faith on the one hand of the lady, absolute result. The parents had no, they had faith because they had sent for Jesus, okay? They had some faith, but they didn't have that absolute faith. But Jesus did his thing anyway. So just, if you go to him, whether it's that absolute rock solid faith of that woman that had been sick for a dozen years, or if it's that Jesus, I have faith, but man, you're going to have to work on me. Either way, he's there. And either way, the result is the same. Victoria, you want to pray us out?
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for all these young people that is here with us this morning. Thank you for this breakfast this morning. Be with each and every one of them throughout this day. In Jesus Christ I pray, amen.
Amen.
And we're rolling. Thank y'all very much. What a great group. Mr. Wheeler, he's not outside tapping his number 12 yet, but he will be in there.
Who didn't sign in?